And we're back. We're now going to talk about the next cabling system, the IBM cabling system. This is one of those I would hope you don't run into it anymore, but real quickly, we'll talk about it. If you think back in 70s, early 80s, we went from mainframes to personal computers. Xerox was developing their personal computers, IBM was developing their personal computers, etc., etc. As Xerox developed their own personal computers, they eventually developed their own network to support their computers. So they developed Ethernet to support their computers. As IBM was developing their personal computers, they eventually developed a network to support their computers. They developed Token Ring. And along with that, they developed their own cabling system to support their Token Ring network. So in the 80s, IBM developed a multi-use cabling system to support their computer networks that they were developing. So, it's kind of one of those, they developed the computers, they developed the networks, they developed the cabling to support their networks to support their computers. So the IBM cabling system was just this. It was their way of supporting their networks and their computers, again designed to support IBM Token Ring networks. So real quick memory, Token Ring network, we had this multi-station access unit, all the nodes in the network plugged into it. It looked like a star, but logically, because the way the data flowed, you remember the token went out to the computer node and back in, out to the computer node and back in, we end up getting a ring. So this MAU is key to their initial Token Ring network. This is what the MAU looked like that they used. Well, their cabling structure plugged into here to support those network nodes, those computer nodes. And the key for them was using this hermaphroditic connector, the data connector. It's a genderless connector that plugs in. This is what the port looked like for the hermaphroditic connector. Here's what the actual connector looked like. This would be a patch cable, if you will. And if I go back to the MAU, you'll see the same port in there in the MAU. So there is no male or female to this. It was a data connector that allowed you to plug two together to make an extension, if you will. Or this would be the outlet, and this is the patch cable. Okay, the way this was designed, kind of ingenious in that way. And again, here's a close-up of the MAU port, and I just showed you another picture here showing you the IBM MAU, so you know it's IBM cabling designed for IBM networks, that sort of stuff. There's another picture of the MAU. Provided a data circuit and one for telephone to each workstation. SDP for data and UTP for voice, if you will. So again, they were trying to support all the data and phone needs that would be needed. The telco outlet is composed of the faceplate and the regular data connector. It provided advantage in mixed application environment, but it was a lot higher cost than a 568C, if you will, or the phone systems. I should say the AT&T system in the day, eventually the 568C. But it was able to support many media types and their signals for that. And here shows you this would be an outlet on the wall, and the data connector would basically snap into that. The outlet would look like that on the wall, and then my patch cable would plug into that. So kind of a well thought out cabling system support that. But as costs of things increased, the popularity of this decreased, and eventually, Ethernet outpaced it, bandwidth, and then Ethernet outpaced it as far as in expense for hooking up and making it work. So this kind of lost favor over time. So there real quickly is your IBM cabling system to support IBM networks, IBM Token Ring networks to support the IBM computers in the day. So just so you at least would recognize that they had their own cabling system for that.